Hello. You might recognize this from last week. This is I'm having another cup of that creamy lemon cheesecake milkshake. But today, to go with it, what do we've got here? Oh, a whole treasure trove of what I call PB&C cookies instead of PB&J. Peanut butter and chocolate cookies. Big chunks of chocolate in there. Mmm. Those are good. Really good. The trick here is to not bake them too long. Just starting to brown around the edges, and they're a little chewy and delicious, and you got that peanut butter and the chocolate mixing together in there. Let's go bake some in the kitchen right now. All right, to make our PB&C cookies, well, we've got a few ingredients here. First of all, we have the peanut butter. It's a half a cup of peanut butter. A half a cup of butter, which has been sitting out at room temperature, so it's a little softer and easier to cream. 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, I wouldn't use a regular white sugar with this. I like to use more of a brown sugar. It just makes a little bit of a difference to the chewiness of the cookie. So if you can get like a blonde sugar like this, that's just actually a cane sugar. So it's not as refined, unrefined cane sugar. 1 cup of flour. Over here I have 8 ounces or 230 grams of dark chocolate bar, which I've broken up into small pieces. Somewhere between 1/4 to 1/2 inch or 5 to 12 millimeters in size. 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. All right, first let's put the butter into a large bowl. Get off there. All right, the butter in there. I like to cream that just a little bit first before I add anything else, just get softened down a bit. And then I'm going to add in the peanut butter. That's looking good already. This is smooth peanut butter. I'm not using crunchy in here. I've never tried it with crunchy for the cookies. I like crunchy in some things, like when I'm making stew, that peanut butter stew that I make. West African stew, you can find that. Then it's really good, but for making cookies and things, I want to go with more of the smooth, or like when I make my chocolate and peanut butter pie, that's more of a smooth peanut butter then. Cream that together a bit. Just going to cream it to combine a little bit the butter and the peanut butter in here. Just bring that together. It doesn't have to be all the way because I'm going to start creaming in the sugar now, so that's going to make sure it all gets mixed together well. All right, so now I'm just creaming the sugar into the peanut butter and butter. So just kind of squishing across it with a wooden spoon. Now that we've got that all creamed together, what I want to do is I'm going to add the vanilla and the egg. And then give it a good beating with the electric beater. So in goes the egg. Oh, don't drop the shell in there. We don't need that. And the vanilla. Grab my electric mixer. Now I'm going to mix this about a minute or two until it's all nice and basically getting fluffy. All right, that's been just a little over a minute. You can see it's all nice and fluffy now. So let's get him out of here. I want to make sure I get much of this back into the bowl. All right, now what I'm going to do is in a separate bowl, just quickly, I'm going to take that flour, the baking powder, and the salt. And then just to make sure I get it all kind of nicely mixed together, I use a whisk or something like that. You can use a spoon, doesn't really matter. But just getting make sure it's all distributed. And now we add it to the peanut. Try to get dramatic, and what do? The peanut butter and sugar mix. And now I just want to mix this in until it's just combined. I'm not mixing it hard, I'm just kind of working it in there. Cut through a little bit. What I don't want to do is overwork the flour. We do that when we're making bread, something like that. All right, that's enough because we're going to be mixing in the chocolate. So in goes the chocolate. Now I'm just going to get that mixed into this peanut butter cookie mix. And that is about ready to go in the oven. Perfect. Okay, what I've done here, I've got a baking sheet and I put a piece of cooking paper on there because it just makes it so much easier to get your cookies off afterwards. Then just take spoonfuls like this. Put them on there about that size, about the size of a nice dining room spoon. Give a little space between them because they're going to spread out. And now, just use the back of the spoon or your fingers and just tap them down a little bit. Now these are going to go in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for about 9 to 10 minutes. What you want to look for is just starting to just lightly brown around the edges. That's good enough. We don't want to overcook these. We don't want to make these all crunchy. We want to get them a little bit chewy. All right, so see ya in about 9-10 minutes. These have been in the oven for just 9 minutes and they're absolutely perfect. See a little tiny bit of browning around the edges? That's all you want. You don't want it to brown too much. Now my oven's a bit hot, so it depends on your oven. It might be 9-10 minutes, thereabouts. Just keep an eye on it and look for starting to get a little bit brown. They're ready to come out. Now, let them sit here and cool for a little bit before you transfer them into the cooling rack because they're really soft when they first come out of the oven. In about a minute, they'll be stiffened up a bit and then you can just slip in there and scoop them off, put them onto a cooling rack, let them cool, and enjoy them. Actually, they're really good even when they're just a little cooled down. They're still warm, delicious. Enjoy these peanut butter and chocolate cookies. Now, if you go to the link appearing on the screen, you can download and print out the recipe for peanut butter and chocolate cookies from our dessert booklet on our Patreon feed. Go there now, print out the recipe, have fun making these delicious cookies, and make cooking fun again with Kuma's Kitchen.